Ages 65 to 85. If you still have these 5 abilities, your independence is guaranteed. Hello, I am Dr. David. In my 28 years of practicing medicine, I have witnessed thousands of patients walk into my clinic. There is an ironic truth. Most of us think we are aging just fine, until we try to stand up from a low chair. The moment you have to use your hands to push off your knees, or take 3 or 4 tries to stand firmly, it is not merely fatigue. It is a red flag. Why is it that some people at age 80 can still hike through forests and play with their grandchildren all day without tiring, while others at 65 already have to rely on a cane or wheelchair? I have spent half my life decoding that question, and today I will share with you the 5 core survival abilities. If you pass these 5 tests, congratulations, you possess an asset greater than any bank account. But if you fail even one, your independence is leaking like a punctured boat. Do not wait until it is too late to regret. Before we dive into each of these life or death tests, I want you to perform a small action that carries great significance for your own health. Click the subscribe button right now. Why? Because the knowledge I share here is not mere theory. It is the result of nearly 3 decades of clinical practice. Hit the notification bell so you do not miss any lessons, because aging waits for no one. And right now, leave a greeting or write your current age in the comments section. I want to know who I am talking to so I can best support you. Are you ready? Let us move to the first ability. Let me tell you about Patricia. She is 71 years old and came to see me in a state of despair. Her daughter wanted to move her into assisted living because she feared her mother could no longer care for herself. Patricia shouted through tears, "Dr. David, I am fine. I still bathe myself and cook for myself." But when I asked Patricia to perform a simple test, she was stunned. She had no idea that she had already lost 3 out of the 5 survival abilities. Why are we so blind to our own decline? Because the human body is a great deceiver. We do not grow weak overnight. We adapt silently. Do you start touching the wall when walking in the dark? You think it is because the lights are dim, but in reality your balance system is failing. Do you start gripping the handrail on the stairs? You think you are being careful, but in reality, your knee joints have lost their shock absorption capacity. Do you use your hands to push yourself out of a chair? You think the chair is too low, but in truth, your quadriceps are wasting away day by day. These changes are so small that you consider them normal for old age. No, this is the regression of biological function. And Patricia's tragedy was that she had adapted so well until there was nothing left to adapt to. The first ability, and also the most important one for maintaining autonomy. Standing up from a sitting position without using your hands. Now, wherever you are, stop and do this with me. Sit down on a normal hard chair. Do not use a sofa that is too soft. Cross your arms over your chest. Absolutely do not let your hands touch your thighs or the chair. Now stand straight up. Can you do it? Do you feel your thighs trembling, or do you have to throw your body forward very hard to get up? You might think, it is just standing up. Is the doctor exaggerating? Listen to this number. After age 65, on average we lose about 3% of muscle mass every year if we do not exercise. Especially the quadriceps group, the part responsible for supporting your entire body weight. A shocking study in Brazil followed over 2,000 people aged 51 to 80. The results showed those who had difficulty or were unable to stand up without using their hands had a 5 times higher risk of death within the next 6 years compared to those who performed it easily. Why? Because this ability is a mirror reflecting cardiovascular, respiratory, and motor nervous system health. When your legs are weak, you walk less. When you walk less, your heart beats weaker, and your lungs exchange gas less efficiently. It is a downward spiral leading straight to a hospital bed. When you lose this strength, your world starts to shrink. Stairs become the enemy. Traveling becomes an ordeal. You start refusing invitations from friends because you are reluctant to walk. Social isolation appears, followed by depression. And as we know, depression in the elderly is a silent killer that accelerates dementia. Michael, 68 years old, is a patient of mine. He once completely failed this test. Michael used to think his life was reduced to days spent sitting by the window. I told him, Michael, Muscle is the only organ in the body that can grow younger at any age if stimulated correctly. I gave him a simple exercise, 10 squats every morning, just 10 times. In the early days, he had to hold onto a table. But after just 3 months, Michael could stand up from a chair as lightly as a 40-year-old. The day he performed that in front of his daughter, she cried knowing her father had reclaimed his freedom. Before moving to the second ability, be honest with yourself. You just performed the sit-to-stand test. What was the result? If you did it easily, please comment, "I did it." If you found it difficult, do not hesitate to leave a comment, "I need to try harder." We are here to progress together, not to judge. Honesty today is the medicine for tomorrow. Now we move to an ability that will surely surprise many of you. Ability number 2, walking backward for 10 steps in a straight line. You might ask, "Doctor, I walk forward my whole life. I never have to walk backward. So why do I need to practice?" The issue is not whether you walk backward or not, but what controls that action. When you walk forward, your brain is in autopilot mode. You have done it billions of times since you first learned to walk. But when you walk backward, that autopilot mode is disconnected. The brain is forced to mobilize the cerebellum, which coordinates movement, and the vestibular system, which maintains balance in the inner ear at maximum capacity. Walking backward requires proprioception, the brain's ability to perceive where body parts are located without looking. A study from the University of Michigan pointed out that complex motor skills, such as walking backward, often decline before memory problems appear. Look at the case of Mrs. Dorothy, 74 years old. She was very sharp, still doing crosswords and remembering the names of all her grandchildren perfectly. But when I asked her to walk backward 10 steps, she could only take 2 steps before staggering and nearly falling. Subsequent specialized testing showed she was in the early stages of cognitive decline. Walking backward revealed what normal conversation could not. If you find you cannot walk backward in a straight line, do not panic. Start practicing for 5 minutes a day in a hallway where you can touch the wall if needed. This will create new neural pathways, helping your brain maintain its neuroplasticity. Ability number 3, reaching down to touch your toes without bending your knees. Many people dismiss flexibility. They say, "I am a bit stiff, so what as long as I am still healthy." But imagine a day when you cannot put on your own socks, cannot cut your own toenails, or feel pain every time you get into a car. Is that still a quality life? 80% of the elderly complain of back pain. They blame the weather, the mattress, but in reality, the cause often lies in stiff hamstrings. When your hamstrings are too tight, they pull your pelvis backward, distorting the natural curve of the spine and placing enormous pressure on the lower lumbar vertebrae. Stand up straight, keep your knees locked, and slowly reach down. How far can you reach? Your knees? Your shins? Or your toes? A 10-year study in Japan of 5,000 elderly people proved those who maintained good flexibility not only lived longer but also had significantly higher life satisfaction. Flexibility is not for joining a contortionist competition. Flexibility is so that every daily movement becomes effortless. Ability number 4, standing on one leg for 30 seconds. Balance is the final boundary protecting you from a nursing home. Do you know why? Because for the elderly, a fall is not just a bruise. It is often the beginning of the end. A broken hip, becoming bedridden, pneumonia, infection, and then the permanent loss of the ability to walk. The Mayo Clinic conducted a study tracking 2,000 people over 8 years. Those who could not maintain balance on one leg for more than 10 seconds had a 3 times higher mortality rate than normal. Balance is a complex system coordinating vision, the inner ear, and receptors under the soles of the feet. When you practice standing on one leg, you are maintaining this entire system. Thomas, 77 years old, once could not stand on one leg for more than 5 seconds. He walked unsteadily and always looked at the ground. We had him start with 3 seconds a day, standing by the sink to have something to hold on to. 6 weeks later, he reached the 30-second mark. The change was not just in his legs. Thomas's posture changed completely. He stood taller, walked more confidently, and the fear in his eyes vanished. When you believe in your balance, you regain your confidence in life. Finally, the most difficult but also the most accurate test. Standing up from the floor without using your hands. In geriatric medicine, we call this the SRT, sitting rising test. You start in a standing position, then sit cross-legged down on the floor, and then slowly stand back up. Each time you use a hand, knee, or forearm for support, 1 point is deducted. The maximum score is 10. Why is it ultimate? Because to do this, you need everything. Core strength, hip, joint flexibility, leg strength, absolute balance. Those who score low, 0 to 3 points, have a 5 to 6 times higher risk of death than those who score high, 8 to 10 points. This ability represents the body's reserve capacity. It shows whether you have enough capability to handle unexpected situations in life. My dear friends, after hearing about these 5 abilities, you may be feeling anxious. Perhaps you realize you have lost a few of them. But listen to me. This decline is completely reversible. The human body is a wonder. It will respond to any demand you place upon it, whether you are 60, 70, or 90 years old. If you cannot yet stand up without using your hands, practice squats every day. If you cannot yet stand firmly on one leg, practice while brushing your teeth. If you cannot yet reach near the ground, stretch gently every evening. The key is not intensity, but persistence. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day to check and practice these 5 abilities will do more for your health than any expensive supplement in the world. Your future 10 years from now is not determined by what you did in the past, but by what you do today. Do not wait until you fall to practice balance. Do not wait until you cannot stand up to practice your leg muscles. Once again, if you find these shares of mine valuable, please share this video with the people you love. Their independence is just as important as your own. Do not forget to click subscribe to accompany me on the journey to conquer longevity and health. Please leave a comment telling me, among the 5 abilities above, which one do you feel you need to improve the most? I will read every comment and select the most concerned topics to create detailed training guide videos. Goodbye. I wish you to always maintain the 5 pillars of your life. See you in the next video.